Sorry.
Sorry.
System freaked out.
System freaked out.
Me just... One minute. The system freaked out and closed down the chat. Just closed everything down. Right. Gonna have to deal with the delay. But anyway, right, So, to this, do you have any... I'm gonna do no response to that one. Do you have any comments about the conclusion? The franchising system likely to perform a better partnership to achieve the objectives. Now we're standing 2.24. Oh God. Bloody everything's moved back to where it was. So, the strategic case of the assessment set out in the information to the bus market in Greater Manchester, the challenges faced and all that stuff. Let me just make sure that has actually ended the other stream. It doesn't always end the stream, you see. Mainly because YouTube is a bit crap. Yes, it has. I've still got an upcoming one for some reason. Right. Better partnership. Reach a stable bus network, integration, quality of service, harmful emissions, simple fares. Fares should offer value for money. Accounted base, erased the safety improvement on bus. Value for money in public investment. Any mark long term. Oh, I should have read this beforehand. Right, I'm just gonna put most of what is planned. Try and spell. Can be achieved by partnership with the bus companies rather than takeover of their operations in the franchising model. And deciding what is best for them. Sorry guys if you were in the stream and you got kicked out. Do you have any comments to consider the impact of COVID-19 on the value of money for the proposal franchising scheme or partnership option? 41 to 52. Oh, go away. So basically it's this chart we want to be looking at. The proposal of the franchising scheme. 345 million. Again, it would be a lot better to spend this money on the infrastructure and helping companies invest in the buses than it would But they try and write all this in these terms and it just doesn't work. I need to get rid of that window. Excuse me. Do you have any comments concerning the impact of COVID-19 on the value of money? Oh, I'm just telling it as it is. Do you have any comments on the conclusion of the commercial arrangement described in the assessment franchising 53 to 60? Right, here we go. This is the bit you want to listen and hear about. Following the sections out via the commercial case, so this is the stuff that commercial is the stuff that has to make money, and TFGM have no say in what happens, basically. The franchising model, the commercial case is set out the commercial aims to implement the proposal franchising scheme, including driving competition for franchises, creating a substantial enduring market, provide flexibility to adapt the changing demand, enable access for small and medium-sized operators. It doesn't. Look at Stotts, right? Stotts have a few buses. Yeah. Stagecoach have 200 in one depot. So, how is Stotts going to compete with Stagecoach for franchising? It's still going to have the same thing. They can only run as many routes as they possibly can with the buses they've got and the drivers they've got. Sections 25 to 27 on the assessment. God in heaven. Let me just go put my burgers on and go. Back. I was doing well for viewers until the system went down. What a shame. So, franchising design, the packing, 5 to 10 large franchising contracts involve total peak vehicle requirements, which is your PVR, i.e. the number of vehicles operated. Yeah, we know that. Of a criteria of 1,250 excluding the spare fleet. Around 25 small van, VUR 140 excluding the spare, ranging from 2 to 14. See, so nothing's going to change here. So basically, all the things to take into account now when they issue a tender they're going to do that in all of them. Now, this is the bit where it's not going to work. Right? Because the asset strategy isn't going to work. So, the depots, GMCA would seek to take control of the strategic depots to provide these to large franchise operators and remove key barriers to enter bidders on these services. Right? With control of the depot estates, GMCA would be able to coordinate and consolidate depot capacity across Greater Manchester, managing the specification and quality of the depot assets better. Provision of the depot facilities and small franchising contracts and school contracts would remain responsibility for their operators. The smaller scale these facilities means that they would not consider strategic in nature and they do not present a material barrier. Basically what they're saying is the yard that Stotts have is not an asset to them because it's not that useful. Big depot like High Road, that's an asset. They want that asset. But Stagecoach own Hyde Road outright. So, are they going to pay for Hyde Road to get Stagecoach out? Because Stagecoach aren't going to go, there's the keys, see you later, are they? After all the money they've ploughed into Hyde Road, with all the pits, the paint shops, the body shop that they've got and all that stuff under there. They're not just going to walk away, are they, from it? Then it says fleets. The operators will continue to own or lease buses. So, they just want the depot. But that's pointless. Intelligent Transport System. GMCA would oversee the implementation of a common ITS system such as ticketing, vehicle location and driver communication system across Greater Manchester to secure the efficiencies and consistent customer experience. Other aspects of the ITS such as CCTV where there is a limited benefit for formality would provide operators such as minimum standards. Basically, they don't really care at that point. But the first one, what they're saying is they're like a system like London where the radio operators all sit in one building and all the radios go to the same place. Now, not so much Diamond and that, and Go North West, they won't have an issue with their radio system that much because it's an analogue system and there's not many buses, there's no inspectors on it at all. However, Stagecoach, right, have an issue with theirs, and it's that there's not enough channels for the amount of operations that are going on. For example, if you've got a depot and inspector talking, and they're both trying to talk on the same buses, you can't put a call in because there is not a free channel for you to talk out. So you end up with that moment where you just sat there, keep pressing your button until it'll go through. So how's that going to work? Because you've got over 1,000 odd buses with digital, and the other half of the buses in Manchester with the big operators on analogue. Well, how's that going to work? That's a very expensive cost to turn transmitters, masts, buses, all into either an analogue system or a digital system. And there'd have to be a digital system because the analogue system wouldn't cope. It copes in London, just, but that's because they've got iBus, which is slightly different. Oh, we won't bother with that one. Procurement, large number of bidders, yeah, whatever. Yeah. The partnership is the one we want. Are we going down to the partnership? We are. Basically, that's what everyone wants, is the partnership. You don't want the franchising. So, basically, what does it ask? Do you have any comment? It would. What I'm putting here is basically, yeah, we'd have that sort of system. We'd have one central control room where the depot staff have no idea what's going on in the control room, so no one really talks to each other. Now it works in London because Stagecoach still operate on the bus has a board and the driver goes to the bus, where the other depots and companies work on the driver has the card, the bus has a card, and they work together. So one driver will dump the bus saying Shoedill, walk over to Piccadilly or catch a bus over to Piccadilly and go take another one off. That way round, while leaving that bus unattended in Shoedill for the next driver at a predetermined location. Where Stagecoach don't do that system, it's either you take the bus off directly on the side of the road or you take it off in the depot. But if they do the partnership option, it provides more money to be able to help operators and improve the ITS systems that are in place already. So you could still have a central control room. You know, Stagecoach have one in UTS, which is Universal Traffic Control. And that's how we get all our road closures and all that information fed to us, because we have an inspector that sits in there all day and watches it. And every now and again you'll have, this is UTC with a group call, this is a UTC. Such a road is closed. There is not a diversion at present. Any issues, please put a call into your relevant comms. Metro standing by. And that's how everyone communicates. If you come across an issue and you're stuck, you put a call in. Your depot deals with it. If they really struggle, they can phone using this. It's a really old technology, right? But you see, they have this thing on the desk. It's called the phone, and they pick it up and they ring UTC, and UTC offer the advice. Do you have any comments of the affordability to the GMCA of the proposal in the light of COVID-19? Which is 67 to 91. Right, we'll just look at the budgets. Let's get on with the budgets. 78 million. All the sources total 134.5 million. In addition to funding net transition requirements of 122 million, protruding to include 12.5 million in the forecast. Oh, it won't. Basically, they're saying they're going to lose money. Only in scenario 2 are they going to make money. Other than that, they're going to lose money. So they're pushing you down that scenario 2. It's a bit like the railways, really, isn't it? They're pushing that one option on you. The Fanning scheme. Right, 1 minute. Fucking hell, they're cooked. I'm just catching these buns before they go off, I think. Not the sort of buns I normally like, but, you know. Do you have any comments on the approach of the transition of the implement of the proposal franchising scheme, about manning the risk assessment of COVID-19 set out the management case for impact bus franchising report, whether the TFGM would be able to manage and implement the partnership 2.92? Right, I don't need to read all that anyway. TFGM struggle to manage the bus stops and information regarding the public transport in Manchester, but yet we are supposed to trust them in handling a franchise and being in total control. I believe TFGM would find it very difficult to manage and take over all the necessary assets required. Basically, what I'm saying there is that I believe TFGM will make a complete hash of it. Do you have any comments to the conclusion of COVID-19 impact on bus franchising report and how COVID-19 is effectively impact the proposal of franchising scheme C102? Oh my god. Yeah, basically, what they're recommending from scanning over this is that franchising is the only way to go and it's the only option. The partnership's out the question. The partnership won't work. So if the depot has no idea what's going on and what happens if your vehicle... Well, see, that didn't appear in there. Well, James, that's part of the problem. Because then that control room is the man in the middle again. Where at the moment, you know, your bus breaks down, you either phone them because your radio doesn't work, or sometimes it's easier to actually phone the depot than it is to put a call in. Or you put a call in, you wait there and you get Dylan 19456, and you answer them back and go, yeah, my bus is broke, I've got such a warning light on. And they go, stand by. And then they pick up another walkie-talkie, right? And they go, engineering. Engineering respond and go, I've got 19456 sat on such a street. Right. And engineering, 9 times out of 10 turn around and go, has he done a full reset? Stand by, engineering. Then you'll have, Dylan, 19456, please do a full reset and get back to me. So you'll sit there, you'll wait 5 minutes, you'll turn it back on, you'll go, oh look, light's gone out. Put another call in, 19456. Yeah, lights out, we're off rolling again. Okay, let us know if there's anything else. Well, with that, you'd have to have one phone in one, then one phone in another. And the engineers don't have time to pick up the phone. Half the time, they don't have the time to pick up the radio. Especially when they're running on minimum staff as it is and they're expected to do all the maintenance. Yeah, it'll bring more disadvantages. Oh, I'm trying to have dinner now. This just took a lot longer than I thought. So what's it asking? Let the infects. Do you have any comments on the conclusion of COVID-19 infects and bus franchising report? I'm just going to put in there, before COVID, the franchising model wouldn't work. Now, in COVID, it still won't work. Operators won't accept it. Passengers will be left confused. I mean, they're confused now, you know, you have people ringing up Diamond for first bus. And so on. So what's it going to be like when they start messing it all up and you've got drivers from all over the show? GMCA is pointless and the wider society. Numbers will return to normal once the government has stopped scaring people. Therefore, the partnership, which is ruled out, will work. My English is terrible considering it's my first language. Nah, Liam, it's alright. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. And it's interesting to see other people's opinions on it. That's why I do this. What? Not even halfway through, so I'm going to have to crack on with this, I think. Oh, I'm running out of time. Got set off about 3:30, I think it is. 1:30, sorry. Just check. Yeah. Do you consider the proposal of the franchising scheme attached to Appendix 3 of the consultant document would not require any further modification beyond those already contemplated included in the draft scheme? 115. I've left the grill on. So I'm just reading over this quickly, skimming it. I better put this on charge. We're all having a dig on the blink. Oh, an announcement they've not bothered telling us about. Basically, it doesn't require any modification because it's not going to work, so I'm not going to respond to it. Did you respond to the previous consultation? No, I missed it. I got the one before. Taking everything into account, do you have any comments on the conclusion that it's the right time to decide whether or not to proceed with the franchising scheme? It's not the right time. That was hard, wasn't it? Hello. Hello, hello. What extent do you support or oppose the introduction of the proposed franchising system? I strongly oppose it because it's shit. Why do you say this? We had it and it was sold off. Think back to GM buses. Didn't work, so why should it now? No doubt I'll get in trouble for having such a voiced opinion. I'm okay. Yourself? The operators aren't happy about the situation. There's a lack of commitment from them. There's a consistent tug of war. Yeah, there is. That's the problem. No operator wants their depot to be taken over. Do you have any further comments? No, I think I've got everything out of that one. We must consider how differently people will be affected by our strategies and policies. And we'll make sure that we hear from all our Greater Manchester diverse background. Therefore, the last few questions about you to help ensure a range of voices. Basically, if you don't answer correctly, they'll just discard you. Provided my own response. Not interested. Which local authority do you live in? Not saying. Not saying. When you can't remember any more answers or any more types, any other Asian, any other black man, any other mixed, any other white background, any God in heaven, not saying. What does religion have to do with it? Yeah, it would cost us more money. What does religion have to do with it? Seriously. Oh my God. The world has gone mad, hasn't it? The world has gone mad, right, when you have to have an answer, non-binary, for what gender you are. And in another way. How many other ways is there? I'm sorry, but you're either a man or a woman, or you're trans. And you still identify then as either a man or a woman. I get what non-binary is, but, you know, you don't see non-binary, do you? Them chopping off the bits and whatever and going, oh, I'm neither. Preferring not to say. I'm sorry, right, but this answer, man including trans, right, so I preferred not to say. Did you identify as a transgender? Do you fuck off. I would put shag buses in there, but I think they'd know that I'm taking the piss at that point. Bus molester. This has gone so far south. What does that have to do with transport? You're not going to get any of that at your bus terminuses anymore anyway. Prefer not to say. Do you have a disability? Other than having to answer this really shite quiz, yeah. Do you have a disability, a long-term health issue that prevents you from using the bus? I hope not, I drive the bloody thing. Right, yeah. Yeah. Done! Right. Yes, I am working on the computer. I'm doing that bloody thing on the computer. I've never seen so much BS in my life for a transport thing. So, you value transport. Go and find this survey. It's GMCA doing buses differently for Manchester. Even if you're not in Manchester, go voice your opinion on it, and just then do what I did and just don't answer any of the personal questions. Basically. But what is your say on it? It is a very one-sided argument. So if you are against franchising, everyone that is against it needs to answer against it. Otherwise, they're just going to keep putting it on them. Putting it and force it through. They can't force it through. So, anyway, thank you so much for watching. Well, you live near Manchester, answer it. It's very off topic, and yeah, don't get me rattled about him. But anyway, right, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go and get ready for work and then go do Mostyn Lane all day again. So, thank you and goodbye. I know I messed it up, but in my soul.